All right, I want to do a video here on something that I think is very important for folks to know, and that is that you are able to kind of tell a lot about a horse's life by his feet. And a horse's feet are kind of like a tree. You know, when you cut a tree down, you got all these rings, growth rings, and it tells you if it was a wet year or a dry year. I mean, people that really know what they're doing can look at the rings on those trees, and they can go back hundreds of years sometimes and tell you what the weather was associated to the rings in that tree, in its grain. Well, a horse is very similar, and this horse is a good example of that. I want you to look right here at his foot, okay? A foot on a horse is about 1 year's growth, the entire foot, okay? Where it takes 1 year for it to grow out entirely. So if you look at his foot right here, things I'm noticing, see how nice and straight his hairline is? Well, that tells us we don't have anything going on that's too critical. If that hairline's crooked, it tells me we got problems in there somewhere. We got infection, or we got a abscess or bone chip or something. But then look from here to here how smooth it is and how very uniform the rings look, nice and smooth. Then you get to about right here and see that rough spot around there? And I don't know if you can see it, but it's crooked. Like it comes right around crooked. And then down below it, it looks a little smoother, okay? Well, a friend of mine calls that hardship rings. I just call it growth rings. And it's not the end of the world, but I want you to see that. So when you look at a horse, you look at that and you say, well, about 7 months ago or 6 months ago, something happened, okay? Where this horse had some type of episode. And if you look at both feet, look at the other one, same story. It's got the same thing on the other feet. All right, look at the back feet, Brittany. See there? See how the back feet kind of all tell you the same story. The good news is he's okay. You know, he doesn't have any abscesses, doesn't have any cracks. Sometimes you'll see that. Okay, you can back up now. Sometimes you'll see that where it's real dry, cracked. That tells us that he was in a real dry climate with dry conditions, didn't have a lot of nutrition. Sometimes you see it really rough going around there. Fever, he got sick, laminitis. So, you know, that all has to grow out. Well, see, you can follow that and watch that to see, you know, kind of what he's been through. So if he's had a fever, if he's been sick, you'll see a little ring around there. It's not the end of the world, but it just tells you the story. Sometimes you'll be able to tell where the hoof's real rough for a couple inches. Well, he had to rough it somewhere for about a couple, 3 months. And then you'll be able to tell that he got a good home that gave him plenty of nutrition and his hooves got nice and smooth. And then maybe sometimes you'll have a wet summer and plenty of grass. Well, you'll see it get kind of rough and it'll change a little bit. Or if you have a drought, you'll see it change a little bit. But just watch that. And when you're buying horses and looking at horses, if you look at that, it'll tell you the story. It's fascinating. And things like this are what I look for and what I watch when I handle and prepare and buy horses.